I'm the founder and designer of Langoliers Jewelry. We specialize in textile fabrication with metals, namely in chain, and we specialize mostly in knitwear and also in macrame and crochet and all sorts of other techniques. We do casting of textiles, so we weave in shapeways, or we go into Rhino or some kind of 3D printing software like Rhino, and we take certain parameters and we put them together and print them out. This hasn't been completed yet, but what we did, let me just walk you through the workflow for a piece like this. What we did was we went into Rhino and we worked with Rhino script to kind of reimagine the golden ratio, the golden spiral, and do it in a way that felt very fashion forward, and it's also extremely wearable and light. We printed it into the plastic, and then we brought it over to our foundry where they cast it in silver for us. So the plastic is basically the same technique as lost wax casting, and the plastic burns away and what's left is the metal. You always have to design for manufacturability. You always have to have production in mind. Otherwise, you're going to be in a situation where you create all these beautiful samples, then you won't be able to produce them, which happens to a lot of fashion designers who aren't thinking about production. And I think that the fashion world is really primed for disruption because the advent of mass customization is going to completely change the way, not just how garments and accessories are created, but it's going to change the way people value design, because you're eliminating so many barriers of entry into the design process. Something like Google SketchUp, anybody can use. And in the future, I think, there's going to be a much greater level of design literacy. So the consumer is getting smarter. And so the designers have to keep on innovating to keep up with their consumer, because the same things aren't going to fly, the same things aren't going to sell, because pretty soon the consumer is going to realize, well, hey, I can make this at home. I can make this at home using shapeways. I can make this myself, and I don't necessarily need a designer. And if I make it myself, then it's exactly what I want, and I don't have to pay crazy markups. And something like 3D printing, what's so beautiful about it is it's infinitely scalable up or down. I'm a writer. I consider myself an artist, so I studied filmmaking and screenwriting at NYU's Tisch School of the Arts. So I've always kind of taken a very narrative approach to running my company. I always thought of Langoliers as kind of an experiential brand. And it's more than just the products that I sell. It's the stories I'm trying to tell, and I'm trying to inspire the consumer to think for themselves and to empower them to make smarter decisions and be more cognizant of how their purchases affect the world around them. And it makes a huge difference. When every time you buy something, you vote on supply chain, you vote on jobs, you vote on trends, you vote on tons of things. And so you have an incredible amount of power as a consumer. You're going to have corporations that are going to create little directories themselves on their website. So for instance, IKEA or something, if you're missing a bolt or a screw or something on your furniture, you'll be able to 3D print it at home through the IKEA website. A lot of people are talking about 3D printers, but people aren't really talking about 3D scanners, which I think the democratization of both 3D scanners and 3D printers are going to change the way things are manufactured. I mean, it's going to be another revolution. It's going to be as drastic as the change from cottage style industry to industrial production. So, but we're moving past that to a point where they're kind of integrated with each other in like this post-Fordist kind of universe that we live in now, which is really exciting for me as a craftsman, because I'm using technology to push the boundaries and create forms that would never be scalable for production, and I'm doing it at a really good cost, and I'm passing those savings on to my consumer.